Hey guys, MCU Collector here with another figure review. Next up is the Mezco Toys, the 112 Collective G.I. Joe Snake Eyes figure. So big shout out and thank you to Big Bad Toy Store for sending this over so I can review for you guys. I am very curious at how the Mezco G.I. Joe figures have come out. I've kind of slowed down on Classified series a lot, but they've released a lot of great Snake Eyes figures and Timber, two of them actually. So I'm curious to see how Mezco is kind of taking their approach to G.I. Joe. I've heard lots of good things. You know, I'd really like to get the Storm Shadow figure. Eventually, I hear a Roadblock is probably like the best G.I. Joe figure that they've done. They've released a Destro. Firefly is really starting to release now. So a lot of great things. Unparalleled Universe has a review of Firefly. But we're here to check out Snake Eyes. So looking at the artwork, very classic looking style of G.I. Joe there for Snake Eyes and Timber. G.I. Joe logo on that side, logo on the other side. And then here on the back of the package, we have a look at all of the different accessories that he comes with. And one thing about Mezco is their accessories are probably some of the best that action figures can do. They for sure do a great job with all of them. And they usually pack out these things pretty insane. Like it's nuts when I'm looking at here. It says Ninjato with sheath attaches to harness. Falchion sword with sheath, which attaches to harness. 16 interchangeable hands. We give Timber, so includes articulated Timber Wolf figure with 2 alternate portraits, a submachine gun with removable silencer and 2 removable magazines, handgun with 2 removable magazines, gun blast effects, 2 butterfly swords, 3 Rappo shurikens, 3 Manju shuriken, and 6 grenades. And then here we have the 112 Collective display base with adjustable posing post, 6 throwing knives, a Tanto knife with sheath which attaches to his belt, a shuriken throwing effects, and grenade throwing effects. That's insane. And then of course the figure. Let's not forget the Snake Eyes figure. So insane amount of accessories, so I'm really excited to check out. So let's go ahead and take Snake Eyes and Timber out of the package and let's take a close look. If you guys collect Mezco, you know kind of how they do their trays. So this is kind of the inner tray. As you can see, it's got the display base, it's got Timber, it's got his 2 portraits, and then you got Snake Eyes and everything, and all of his accessories there. So they just come together like so. So that's how they do those trays. Okay, so here is Snake Eyes and Timber out of the package, and ooh, I really like Snake Eyes. The Timber is pretty cool. He seems a little bit stiff, if I'm being honest, so I'm going to be a little bit careful when, you know, articulating those joints and moving those around. But Snake Eyes, I really like. I really like the tactical look, and then he's got all, like, the harnesses and everything around him, which is really cool. So Mezco, obviously known for their soft goods use in their action figures, so here it's really highlighted well in Snake Eyes. You know, a lot of times earlier Mezco figures had kind of the pajama look and things like that. They've kind of adjusted to use different materials based on the different figures, and I think they've come a long way and made a lot of improvements. I have a few Mezcos. I have all the MCU Spider-Man ones, and I'm really happy with those ones. But Snake Eyes here, just the tactical look, I really like. One thing that I really like in those trays is how they did the accessories now. So individual little trays for portions of the accessories are nice. So all the hands gets its own tray here. We got the guns and some of the knives gets its own tray here. We got some of the other accessories here that get its own tray, so that is nice. And then here with the swords and some knives and blast effect and things, gets its own tray. That is really nice and makes it very easy in terms of accessories. Before, all those accessories used to go in those big ass trays. So now we have these, so they're individual trays, which is nice. We do get the additional 2 portraits for Timber, and as you can see there, you kind of have that really growling, showing his teeth. And then, well, I guess this would be more the growl head, and then this one's kind of the barking, howling head, where he's really showing his teeth and everything like that, and these look really good. We get the 2 throwing effects. So here is the shuriken throwing hand. So as you can see, the effect, it's a translucent plastic piece with the 3 shurikens there, and you can see the hand as if he's throwing them. So that is a nice touch. And then we also have that grenade throwing hand in there, so that is pretty cool. As you can see, the grenade there with a little bit of smoke effect color in there, otherwise it's translucent plastic. And then the hand, so that is a nice touch there as well. So let's go ahead and get in for a closer look at the Snake Eyes figure. Okay, so here we have an up-close look at Snake Eyes. Here and looking at the mask, we get this nice silver visor in there. I like the line work and the texture that they put into the mask. It makes it look really good. One thing that I'm probably not the biggest fan of, though, is how the soft goods folds into that neck hole, and we get that separate neck piece. I wish the neck piece would have been a little bit lower in there so it kind of blends in a little bit better, but that's probably always going to happen because you transition from soft goods into hard plastic, but it looks pretty good, I guess. But that's probably going to be my biggest complaint. We get the Arashikage logo there here on his right shoulder. And then you got the grenades there on the harness, and that harness comes around under his arm there as well. And you can see the stitching, and the stitching is pretty clean. I know it looks kind of large stitching, but it's on the back of the figure. You're not really going to see it or anything like that. Looks like a couple of areas where we could port stuff, right? The sheath for the swords, something here on the back of his belt. We'll have to kind of look at all of that. We got a holster there for his sidearm and everything. The forearms get a hard plastic piece. You get kind of that pleather-like material kind of in the upper torso, and then you have that very soft elastic material for his arms in the upper torso, but his legs get that more canvas like pant types, which is better, I think, when you think of tactical pants and things like that. So it's nice that they have kind of the dual materials there. And then here we have the boots, as you can see there. So Snake Eyes looking pretty darn good. Now let's go ahead and take a look at Timber, and then we'll take a look at the accessories. Okay, so here is Timber, and one thing about him is I gotta like study the anatomy of a wolf to see how their body really moves and things like that, because we get different points of articulation around there. His tail is just gonna swivel. I guess we'll kind of do the articulation here for Timber while we're at it. But here's that growling head sculpt, and this one's probably gonna be my favorite. I think that looks really good. You know, he's showing the teeth, he's showing the anger and everything like that. It's like, hey, don't mess with me. The one that is probably gonna be my least favorite is because I think they just kind of overdid it. Something about it just looks a little funky. This is the growling head. I think they made his mouth too big, if that makes sense. Like from the side profile, I think that looks great, but when you look at it straight on, it looks a little funky in my opinion. It just didn't quite hit the mark, and that might just be me, but you guys let me know what you think there. But side profile, I think it looks amazing. It's just straight on. I think it looks a little bit funky, like it just doesn't quite work. I think the lower jaw is a little too wide or something like that. So we have that head sculpt, and then we just have the relaxed head sculpt, and that one looks really good as well. Nice coloring for Timber. We get this nice like dry brushing of this like whitish gray color around the top to kind of really bring out the texturing of the fur and everything like that. So the head is on a ball joint, so he can kind of move that head around a little bit there. We have this point of articulation there, which provides some movement. He can get up a little bit, you can get down a little bit, but it's not a whole lot, to be honest with you. So, you know, I guess yeah, it's just not a whole lot. And then here you have this back portion, so you can move the body kind of from side to side. Not really up or down, it's just kind of side to side there. That tail swivels, I think I had talked about that. The hind legs you can move like so, but you can move them out and in a little bit. And then you have that articulation at the knee, and then I guess which would be like the ankle there, so you can move it like so. And then the foot is just on a ball joint, so you can do some pivot, but there's no hinge at those paws, so just be aware of that. And then the forelegs, you know, those front legs, there's a lot more motion like butterfly in and out there. And then you get the bend there, straight and in, and then that lower ankle portion you can bend there. It can go back as well, but again, the paws are on a ball joint, so you can get some pivot in there, but that's all you're going to get. We do get the painted paws at the bottom. So it's kind of difficult with no hinge at the actual paws, so you just have to position the leg in certain ways that the paws are going to be flat. So that's just something to be aware of there. But again, understanding, you know, leg movement and how that makes sense when posing it around is going to be kind of the key thing, and one thing that I would definitely need to study on to make sure I get it into a very natural looking pose. But it is a very, very, very good Timber. Okay, so for accessories, we're going to start with this tray. And I don't know what this piece is. It's actually pictured on the back of the thing, but it's not like listed as far as what it is. So I don't know if it's like a foldable bow staff, if that's what it is. So I'm going to do that. And I need to be so careful because these things are just so tiny. Like I'm extremely worried that I'm going to drop these things and like lose them forever. So these are the throwing knives there. I feel like these have a name and I can't think of them. Kunai? I want to say it's a kunai. You guys let me know down in the comments below if I'm way off the mark with that or if I'm maybe accurate. But we get 6 of these and they're so small. They're done really nice. They're a little pokey, nothing crazy, but they're very tiny. So I don't want to lose them, so I'm just going to stick that in there and like never touch them again. We get a couple of different shurikens, and these are very nice too. Nice silver, but black in there, and they look really good. A little pokey, not going to hurt you or anything like that, but we got them in there. And there is 3 of these, and there's 3 of another shuriken, and I don't know like this different styles, which one's which, and I got to be careful as I try and get the other one out. So this one is like a 6-star shuriken there, and those look really good. Nice silver and black in there. Then we get 6 grenades, which, man, how do I get the grenades out without tipping over the entire accessory tray? But we get 6 grenades that look absolutely incredible, and I'm trying to... There we go. No! Okay, so God, these trays, the accessories are so small. They're so nicely done though. So black grenade with just like the silver handle on there, and you look at that, you got the ring. It's not a removable ring or anything like that, but we have 6 of these grenades, and remember, there is a grenade throwing hand to kind of match along with that. Just incredible, detailed, very tiny. Be very, very, very careful with that. And then here on, I guess, this bow staff. No, it's not a bow staff because it's connected like... So I don't know what this is called. You guys will have to let me know down in the comments below what this is called. So it's not nunchucks, as there's 3 pieces. They're connected together with a metal ring there. Again, I don't know what it's called, but it is done very nice. Just a nice silver color there, but it's nice that we get an actual metal ring holding it together, and then you can kind of fold it up and everything like that. So I'm going to place that back in there. Be very careful with that as well. On to the next tray. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at the, a couple of the knives and the guns that he comes with. So we got the submachine gun here, which looks pretty good. Is it a submachine? I thought this was an Uzi, right? Or is Uzi just not like the technical term for it? I'm not really sure. Nice magazine there, and check that out. The bullet itself is actually painted, so a little bit of gold paint on that bullet at the top of that magazine. We can insert that back into the submachine gun, or Uzi, I would like to call it, but you guys let me know if I'm way off the mark and wrong on that. But I'm pretty sure it's an Uzi, right? All black in color, but we do get some areas with the gloss black, little silver ring there on actually both sides, so that looks really good. There we do get an additional magazine there for it. We get 2 of these knives. These are the same knives, which I need to get out there. These knives look incredibly done as well, a little pokey. So silver, nice silver for the blade and for the handle, but the hilt itself has got some black color in there. There are 2 of these knives, so those look really good. And then we also get the handgun, which does have an additional magazine as well. And this just looks like a Glock. You guys let me know down in the comments below of that. See, the barrel actually has a nice silver color in that. Kind of differentiates because it's mostly just a black gun. Silver there at the back. And you can actually pull that back. Look at that's insane. Like, that's the thing about Mezco accessories, how good they are, that you can actually do that, right? So if you do certain image, like, oh, maybe he's out of ammo, right? You can do that. And then you have the removable magazine, and again, the bullet is painted in there. So that is just incredible detail from Mezco. But again, this is what Mezco has done, and they have been doing for years. So this is like the expectation that they're going to do crazy stuff like that. So we have that there, and this should holster on his side. Okay, so he got the holster here. It does clip on the side, so you can undo the clip, and then you should be able to just holster his weapon in there like so, and then clip it right back in to secure it in there. So there we go. Bam. Okay, so now we go to some of the blades, the 2 swords, the knife, and then we have that blast effect that you'll actually be able to use to port in with the weapons that he comes with. So we're going to open up this tray and take a closer look at these accessories here. So looking at this blast effect piece, and the really cool thing about this, and I don't know if some of these things get reused across the different Mezco figures, but I know that they've done this before where you have the blast effect piece where the flame, but you also have the bullet painted at the end there, which is a really nice touch because, you know, you see the muzzle effects, but you don't ever see the bullet. So it's pretty incredible that they go that extra mile to do that detail in there. So if we do the submachine gun or Uzi, you can have it there, and then again, there's the bullet flying out of it. So really nice touch there. And then the swords. Boy, see what happens? We got a couple of different swords. We got this one here, nice silver blade. There, black hilt, as you can see there. We get two swords. I don't know which one is which. You guys will have to let me know down in the comments below. One is shorter, so what the shorter one is called, I am not sure. Just silver blade there as well. And then you can see the hilt is all black. There, we get two sheaths, so each sword gets its own sheath. So this one, we could just sheath it in like so. Nice, firm fit in there. And then at the back of the figure, I think what we just do is just insert the sheath in there. Does it, like, can you, how do you do this? Oh, you could do that, and then boom, you have the sword sheath in his back, and you can just secure it there. It looks like you can kind of secure it in different positions. You see how the sheath, you can do it there, or there. I guess whichever one will kind of make sense to you, I guess, or, you know, it seems weird that you would have the different options and how to position it. And it's a little tricky to fit it in. And then you got the sword there. So that is pretty cool. We'll take a look at the other sword. So we should be able to do that as well, or possibly not. I'll have to see how we do that. So this sheath is pretty crazy looking there. So we get it for this blade. Okay, nice firm grasp there. And this one, I don't know if this one, if it makes sense. You could slide it in there and that could work like so, I guess, if that's how it's supposed to be. You guys let me know down in the comments below if you feel that that is even correct. Oh, and this harness came off there, so you could just port that back together. Oh, boom, nice and firm. We also get this knife here. Oh, so we actually have a silencer. So let's see. Will the silencer work on the Uzi? Would that even make sense? Probably not. So we have, but we do get the silencer. We have the knife, just a silver blade there. We get the sheath there for the knife, so we could just sheath that, and it's got a little peg on there, and right here on the back of his belt we can just port in this knife like so. So there he has the knife on his belt there. So now the next is the hands. Actually, before we move on to the hands, here is the silencer on the handgun, as you can see there, boom, and then the blast effect as well right onto the handgun, boom. So works for both. Okay, so 8 total sets of hands on the figure out of the package. He's got his fists on there, and then at the top of the tray we got just these open hands there. Next up we get these karate gesturing hands, I would say. You can get them into certain karate poses. You have the right hand that looks like this. You have the left hand that just is kind of out open like so. Next is going to be the trigger finger hand, so right and left trigger finger. Next we've got some grip hands there. The next we have some other grip hands, and I think this one's going to be more for like the knife kind of thing, a little bit tighter of a fit. And then these are just kind of more relaxed hands, I would say. And then here at the bottom we have additional trigger finger hands. It looks like trigger finger hands, but I don't know what he's going to be able to grip. So these are probably like the shuriken holding hands, I would say, because it's just going to be his index finger and his thumb that's going to grip onto anything. So I would say these are the shuriken holding hands or throwing hand type of deal. So 16 hands altogether, 8 pairs of hands, lots and lots of accessories. Okay, so all the accessories, awesome to see, but how can Snake Eyes move? So let's go ahead and check that out. Snake Eyes can look up all the way, which is great. He can look down somewhat, so that might be the biggest flaw there, is him not being able to really look down. Get a full rotation in there, and you can do some crazy pivot, obviously. The neck is a separate piece, but the neck doesn't move around a whole lot. You can swivel it around if needed, but you could just move the head around. The arm you can get to go straight on out, which is good. Obviously, you're not going to be able to do a full rotation in there. There's no butterfly joint. You do have an upper bicep swivel in there. You get a double jointed elbow that gives you that much bend there. Wrists swivel and hinge. They are ball joint hinge, so you can move around as needed. So we get a couple of points of articulation in the torso. So Snake Eyes could tilt to his left that much there. He could tilt to his right that much there. That is crazy amount of motion there. That is awesome. He can lean back super far, and then he can come forward pretty far as well. So that is some crazy motion in that torso joint for Snake Eyes. You could do a little bit of swivel in there as well. Legs go out that far apart, which is pretty good. He can kick forward that far. The pant leg does bunch up a little bit there, but it's not too bad. Leg doesn't really go back. There is an upper thigh cut in there, and you do get a double jointed knee that gives you that much bend. There's no boots. Well, there is a little bit of a boot swivel, not a huge amount, but you can swivel it around. The problem with the feet, though, you do get some pivot. There's a ball joint, so you can hinge down ever so slightly, tiny bit up. There's pivot in there, and you can swivel it around. So that is another flaw there, is you just don't get a lot of ankle movement for Snake Eyes, and he does have peg holes at the bottom of the feet. So pretty incredible articulation for Snake Eyes. Okay, to do a side-by-side comparison with the G.I. Joe Classified series, this is the Snake Eyes that I had readily available here. Snake Eyes is bigger. Mezco tends to run a little bit bigger, I would say more to a 6.5 inch scale as opposed to a 6 inch scale. But yeah, night and day difference between the two. G.I. Joe Classified series is a very good action figure line. It really, really is. It's one of the best. Mezco does a lot of special things when it comes to the soft goods and the accessories. So if you're looking for accessories, Hasbro's not going to beat Mezco. They're just not. In terms of how you want your figures to look, when you incorporate the soft goods and the layered look and everything like that, Mezco does a phenomenal job with it. Like, if I could pick one line to kind of go with, it would probably be Mezco because of the accessories and just overall how the soft goods can be incorporated and look. Like, I think this Snake Eyes figure looks absolutely incredible. Not that this one doesn't, it does, but to me, this one just looks absolutely amazing, and I love the way it looks. But you guys let me know down in the comments below, what do you think of the Mezco G.I. Joe Snake Eyes figure compared to the G.I. Joe Classified line? Okay, that is my review of the Mezco Toys 112 Collective G.I. Joe Snake Eyes figure. Absolutely incredible. It is in stock right now at BigBadToyStore.com, so link in the video description below to get your Snake Eyes and Timber figure from Mezco 112 Collective, as well as all your Mezco needs and all your action figure needs. Head to BigBadToyStore.com. You guys let me know down in the comments below, what do you think of this Snake Eyes and Timber? I think it is incredible. The accessories are extremely difficult for any toy company to beat. They did a great job. I love the way the Snake Eyes looks. You guys let me know what you think of the Snake Eyes. If you have other Mezco G.I. Joe figures, let me know which one you think is the best. I hear it's Roadblock. Storm Shadow looks incredible, but Firefly just hit, and the accessories on him look pretty damn amazing. But you guys let me know which one is the best of all of them. Let me know in the comments below. If you guys liked this video, please do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. And as always, thank you for watching.